Welcome to Swift Greenhouse's Cultivate 2020 slide presentation on our new varieties of 50 plug perennials for the year 2021. I'm Hans Stokes here with Scott Swift.
Hello.
And today again we're going to be going over and highlighting a lot of our exciting new perennials in the 50 plug size and introduce you to them and share with you what we like.
This is our 50 plug list, and it highlights over 1,000 varieties. If you look at the bottom of this 50 plug list, it has the Blooming in the Pot 50 plug predictable perennial schedule. The little pots there in black with numbers in them are the weeks to bloom for over 650 varieties out of the 1,000 varieties that we produce. If you look at the list on the inside, the little pot on the left with the weeks is the weeks to bloom for each of these varieties. So if you're trying to get something to bloom for a certain date, simply back up the amount of weeks and schedule your plugs for that week and then grow them at the temperature regime that we've recommended on the front. If you go colder than what we do on the recommend on the front, which a lot of people do, remember it adds about 1 week for every 5 degrees that you take off of your temperatures. Achillea millirock is new this year from Darwin Perennials. A very unique bicolor red and yellow is on the left, and then the yellow millirock on the right. These are hardy to zone 5, attract butterflies, very nice new color selections from Darwin. The Agastache Paquito series, the dark blue in the upper left-hand corner, is brand new this year from Terra Nova. Sure to be popular dark blue purplish color, and this joins the orange, butter yellow, and lavender Paquito series from last year that was new. These are very dwarf Agastache. They're about only 10 to 12 inches tall, and they bloom in a quart rather quickly in the spring in just 7 to 8 weeks. So sure to be popular, nicely hardy to zone 5, great new variety additions. Ajuga Princess Nadia is a variegated ajuga that looks similar to Burgundy Glow, only with smaller leaves. The leaves are actually closer to chocolate chip size, so this is a semi-dwarf ajuga for rock gardens and shade possibly. Hardy to zone 4. One of my favorite seed varieties that's new this year is the Aqualesia Early Bird series. This is basically an improvement of the Songbird series, which is being discontinued. There's several new colors in here. The purple and blue is unique. It's a bicolor Aqualesia color that's not readily available in any other hybrid series. And below that, the yellow and red, a bicolor, which is also a really unique color not found in very many series. So quite a few individual colors on this. These are very hardy to zone 3 to 9, and they bloom in just 6 to 7 weeks. Will fill out a quart or even a gallon pot. So I recommend that you try these and use these just like the Songbird series because they're a very dependable early flowering columbine. Aster Pink Crush is new from Walter's Gardens. It's very similar to Wood's Purple Aster. Very similar in height. I believe it's under 2 feet. So a nice bright pink hardy aster to zone 3 from Walter's. Buddleia Monarch Princess Pink is one of 3 other Monarch series Buddleias that we've added from Walter's Gardens. These are more of a dwarf type Buddleia with large flowers and blooms, hardy to zone 5, blooming in just 11 to 12 weeks. Caryopteris Pavilion Pink is new from Danziger. Danziger is coming out with more and more perennials, and this certainly looks like a winner. It's hardy to zone 5 and a color of light pink that's not been seen on Caryopteris before. The Chrysanthemum Igloo series we added last year with 5 other colors, but we've added Autumn Spice, Brilliant, and Fireworks this year. These are very hardy garden mums to zone 4 that will come back. They will even bloom in the spring if planted in February and grown under short days. They will be blooming by April, and they'll also again bloom naturally in the garden in the fall, blooming in just 9 to 10 weeks. Delosperma Jewel the Desert Sunstone is a new addition from the Delosperma Jewel, the Desert Series, joining 6 other colors that we do. This is hardy to zone 5 and blooms in just 8 to 9 weeks. A great 4-inch or quart item. 2 new Dianthuses that we're doing this year. Dianthus Rockin' Pink Magic is a great Dianthus, hardy to zone 5, blooms in just 6 to 7 weeks. Nice bicolor foliage on that. That is from seed. And Dianthus American Cherry Pie, joining the other Cherry Pie series Dianthus that we have on our list. A nice bright red color, again hardy to zone 5, blooms in just 6 to 7 weeks. The Dianthus Mountain Frost series from Darwin Perennials is a new exciting series addition to the Mountain Frost series that we've had for several years. The Pink Twinkle is a very free flowering, lots of blooms, blooms in just 6 to 7 weeks. Ruby Glitter, very unique color, the red and white splash, sure to be popular. And then Ruby Snow, a really nice white with burgundy eye. So these are hardy to zone 4 from Darwin Perennials. A very exciting digitalis for next year is a hybrid Pink Panther, zone 5, and it blooms fairly quickly. We believe in probably 8 to 9 weeks. This should be blooming in your quarts or gallons, but a very free-flowering digitalis. Not a long-lived perennial in the garden, but very unique and sought-after flower color. The Echinacea Artesian series is the first red and orange color shades seed series of Echinacea. This is a more economically priced Echinacea, quite a bit cheaper than some of the tissue culture variety colors that it's taken in the past to get this way. So the ombre red and soft orange are hardy to zone 4 and sure to be popular. Make sure to grow your Echinaceas warm using long days, which we'll talk about later in this talk. 2 other Echinacea Sombreros that we're adding is Sombrero Fiesta Orange, a really neat dark colored orange, and Sombrero Poco Yellow, a really bright yellow, improved yellow Echinacea, adding to the 8 other varieties of sombreros that are already on Swift's list. These bloom in just 10 to 11 weeks, again from Darwin Perennials. Gara Walberton Silver Fountain is a brand new Gara for us, blooms in just 7 to 8 weeks, hardy to zone 5, really a free flowering, exciting new Gara that should produce lots of color in 4-inch or gallon pots. Several new grasses that we're doing this year. Grass Bandwidth from Darwin is zone 5 to 9. It is a dwarf grass at just 15 to 18 inches, but it is fairly vigorous. So it has a unique concept there of a dwarf grass that actually grows fairly quickly in the landscape. So very unique color pattern on that. And Grass Eldorado, a hardy to zone 4 Carl Forrester type grass that's variegated. Nice wide leaf variegation there, about 4 to 5 foot in the landscape, hardy to zone 4. A new herb this year from Darwin Perennials is Lavandula Annet, zone 5, and blooms in just 7 to 8 weeks, maybe even a little quicker than that, but a large flower head on a new lavender from cuttings. Herb Orange Balm is basically the same as Herb Lemon Balm, only with orange flavoring and scents. With all the popularity of herbs this year, we're certainly adding this to our finished line of herbs that we use for production, and I would recommend that you do that too, because I'm sure herbs will continue, especially next year, to be popular. 2 new heucheras that we've added. These are both from seed. My favorite of the new ones here is Dale Strain. It has a aluminum colored silver type leaf on top, very showy in quarts or gallon pots, and also there's a multicolored leaf from Heuchera Autumn Bride. Both of these hardy to zone 4, and again very economically priced from seed. Leucanthemum Whitecap is new from Darwin Perennials. It blooms fairly quickly from 50 plugs and blooms very heavily. It is zone 5. Monarda Sugar Buzz series that we've done for several years. These 3 new colors join the 5 other colors that we currently have. We have Berry Taffy, Lilac Lollipop, and Pink Frosting. So names that make you just want to try it and see what they do in the landscape. These are blooming in front of our display garden at our company headquarters and are totally stunning in the garden with 15 to 18 inch flower height blooming in July. So these are hardy to zone 4 and new from Walter's Gardens. The perennial plant of the year is Nepeta calamintha. It's a fairly easy to grow, fast spreading clumping perennial that blooms white and is hardy to zone 5. So you'll want to make sure that you do plenty of this. It will easily fill out a quart or very easily a gallon due to its vigor. Nepeta Blue Prelude is new from Darwin Perennials, a very unique dark colored Nepeta with a little bit of white splotching in there and blooms in about 7 weeks, hardy to zone 5. Several new Nepetas from Darwin Perennials, the Whispurr series, Whispurr Blue and Whispurr Pink. The pink is certainly unique in colors of Nepeta and sure to be popular. The blue has a very good plant habit form and is fairly vigorous. Both of these would be very good in gallon pots, also hardy to zone 4. Penstemon Onyx and Pearls is new from Walter's Gardens. Its burgundy foliage and bright white flowers are very striking together. We also have very good availability of this. A lot of times the penstemons are difficult to propagate and cuttings are slow to make, but we have great stock on this, hardy to zone 3. Several new phlox that are exciting for next year. The Phlox Hybrid Baby Doll is a paniculata type phlox, but a little bit shorter, and it blooms a little bit earlier than the paniculatas and a little bit quicker to grow and a little bit easier to grow than some of the paniculatas, hardy to zone 4. The Phlox Paniculata Fashionably Early joins 2 other Fashionably Early series phlox from Walters, and again, this is one of 3 colors that are available, and it blooms a little bit earlier than many of the paniculata phlox and is easier to grow. Great in the garden. Phlox Garden Girls, the Cover Girl and Uptown Girl, are 2 new tall phlox that we do from Walter's Gardens. These are taller, closer to 4 feet in the landscape, but very bright, large colored flowers on these phlox, hardy to zone 3. The last 2 phlox that we have additions for next year is a new white bicolor of the Kapow series, hardy to zone 5. Anything that has a nice white eye or red eye, any type of eye on the plant is always attractive to customers in the garden and in the pot. Also adding Super Kapow Pink, a little bit taller version of Pink Kapow, hardy to zone 5 from Darwin Perennials. In the subulata creeping phlox category, Ay Caramba is new for next year. It's a great bicolor phlox joining Eye Candy and Eye Shadow that we already have on our list from Walter's Gardens. These are very hardy to zone 2, bloom in just 5 to 6 weeks. Again, the eyes have it on these, and these are sure to be popular. Platycodon Fairy Snow is a very unique colored platycodon, hardy to zone 3. It is an antique white looking platycodon balloon flower bloom with blue eyes or blue veins. Pulmonaria Shrimps on the Barbie is a bright pink colored pulmonaria, new from Terra Nova. Lots of striking color there with great variegated foliage. Also Pulmonaria Trevi Fountain, a bright blue blooming pulmonaria with quite a bit of speckling on the leaves. Very noticeable and showy in the garden. Both of these hardy to zone 4. These are from tissue culture. Rose Parade Freesia is a creamy white rose new from Polson Roses. We have 14 colors of Polson roses, and the miniature roses from Polson are basically my favorite garden perennial. They come in many colors, oranges, lavenders, almost any color you can think of, bloom in just 7 to 8 weeks in the garden, and they start blooming in May and basically continue blooming till frost. Very reliably hardy to zone 5 at least. They do come back quite regularly, even in Minneapolis. So I recommend the roses, the Parade series, as a great garden plant for constant color in the garden. You can't go wrong with these roses. Rudbeckia hybrid American Gold Rush is new from Intrinsic Perennial Gardens. This is basically a hybrid. It is similar in form and habit to Goldstrom without the black blotching leaf problem that is plaguing Goldstrom in some landscapes. It's very free flowering and reblooms, and it blooms a little bit earlier than Goldstrom. It's hardy to zone 4. This is a tissue culture or cutting produced plant, so our availability though is very good on this variety at the moment. Salvia Tidal Pool is new from Walter's Gardens, a very unique flower color, a bright blue that really is striking in the garden or in the pot. These bloom in just 7 to 8 weeks and hardy to zone 3. Saxifraga Lofty Pink Shades is a very nice addition to our 2 other saxifragas that we list. This is several colors of pink that bloom in just 5 to 6 weeks. Great for rock gardens, especially a great quart variety in the spring, hardy to zone 4. 2 new sedums from Terra Nova. Class Act is a very large-leafed variety of sedum, not overly tall, probably 18 inches in most settings, with a very large bicolor flower bloom. Also, sedum Dark Magic is a striking dark brown or almost black colored foliage leaves with a unique colored flower head. Both of these hardy to zone 4 from Terra Nova. 2 other sedums that are new to our list. Sedum Pink Bomb is an improved sedum spectable, blooms very early, very wide leaves, very large flower, hardy to zone 3, and sedum Spellbound from Walter's Gardens, a very nice kind of an intermediate sedum. It's taller than a short sedum, but shorter than a tall sedum, perfect for 6-inch pots. 3 new Sempervivum Hen and Chicks that we have added this year, joining our line of almost 15 varieties of Hen and Chicks, are Commander Hay, Sunset, and Tip Top. These red splashed varieties of Hen and Chicks are sure to be popular with the bright red tipping and growth of foliage in the spring, all very hardy at zone 2 or even 3. Veronica Vespers Blue is new from Terra Nova. It is very similar in growth habit to Aspire Pink. It's a compact, free-flowering blue Veronica at a height of about only 15 to 18 inches. Blooms in just 8 to 9 weeks and is hardy to zone 4. These are our perennial gardening made easier with color-coded tags. It's very simple. We have front of the garden on the left, which are pink tags, and yellow is middle of the garden for items that are medium height size, normally anywhere from 15 to 30 inches. And then we have the green tag or back of the garden for anything over 36 inches tall. This makes it easier for your customers to know where to plant these perennials for proper placement in the perennial garden. We also have perennials marked in purple for shade, and then we also do climbing vines, our orange tags for any of the clematis or other vines. So you also notice the icons that are printed on these tags. We have deer-resistant plants, hummingbirds, attracts butterflies. These are icons that are very easy to help consumers figure out what do I plant where, and what do I plant to attract certain species of insects or birds. So a really great tag system. I don't think it's duplicated anywhere in the country, and it comes in the box. Our tags ship in the box with your plugs unless you specify no tags. This is a top 30 no-brainer predictable perennial list. This is a list of perennial varieties that we recommend oftentimes for new customers, or if customers are looking to add varieties that will be sure hits with lots of color in the spring. I would recommend doing all the varieties on this list if you can. These are things that bloom easily and are really showy in 4-inch or 6-inch or gallon pots in the spring. So use this list for picking your varieties or for showing them to your customers who are ordering 50 plugs.
This page here, I just want to go over, Scott mentioned about our echinaceas. This sheet ships with every order that goes out. On it, as you can see, is Asclepias tuberosa, the echinacea that I talked about, hibiscus, aster, phlox, paniculata. These are crops that require long days in order to break dormancy quickly and evenly. Many of our perennials in the 50 plug are going to be arriving to you dormant, and these guys need that extra special care in order to break evenly and well. So this again is kind of a guide to how to set that up with temperature recommendations of 65 degrees, and again lighting from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. Every order comes with this sheet on it. On the price list, you'll also notice that the varieties do have a light bulb indicator next to those crops that are most beneficial to receive this treatment. Here's an example of one of our houses set up with light bulbs in that manner, alternating incandescent light bulbs in order to give it that nice wavelength of light to help those perennials come out evenly and efficiently from, again, 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. On the other side of that document that comes with your orders, you'll receive these growing recommendation sheet. As Scott mentioned on the price list, this will give you that similar information in the sense of temperatures, fertilizer regimes. Again, the plants will come vernalized, and so a lot of times the foliage will be brown or dead. But as you look in the crown pictures, in the roots, they are actively growing, so please do not throw them away. Below on the bottom are plants that require the warm days and or light bulb. Just glance over that, make sure you're aware of those crops, and if you have any questions about how to treat them, reach out to us. I'm free to answer any questions, go over tricks and things to help improve your success with, again, vernalized perennial plugs. Our greenhouses throughout, we use biological insects to monitor our pest populations and to suppress them. BioBest and Beneficial Insectary are insect companies that we use to apply these beneficial insects, again, to target those pests throughout the greenhouse. Many of our greenhouses are thrip screened, as you can see in the photograph here. Our cool cells are covered, so again, we're not pulling in any unwanted pests into our stock houses, propagation houses, and our production. The bottom right picture there shows that many of our stock plants will be testing for viruses to make sure that they are clean as they come into our facility and clean as they go out.
Shipping, Swift's always ships the safest, most economical method to you. Most customers are receiving their perennial plugs from us in the boxes that you see on the right pallet. FedEx Ground is usually the preferred method to getting most orders to customers. If the orders are over 50 trays or more, we will often send them freight, either FedEx freight or Speedy Freight or Holland. And in the summertime, we often use the left pallet, which is an open pallet shipper, to minimize the damage from heat caused in the summer. Also, pallets in the winter are shrink wrapped to help hold in the heat so the plants don't arrive frozen. We also use Swift owned truck delivery. This is a really good deal, and people really appreciate it, and their orders usually grow when we start delivering to them on our own truck. It usually runs between $2 and $2.75 per tray, and there is no box charge because they're hand unloaded or rolled off on carts from our trucks. We usually go to most of the pink areas shown on the map every couple of weeks from February into middle of March, and if your order is being shipped during that time frame, we may call you and schedule a delivery for our own truck for you.
Again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for the Cultivate 2020 virtual booth and webinar and video presentation. Again, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that if you have any cultural, lighting, plant growth regulator questions, or even perennial programs that you want to set up, whether it's native, naturalizing, or first-year flowering ideas, feel free to reach out to me at hans@swiftgreenhouses.com. Feel free to, again, visit our website for any documents, PDFs, visit our virtual booth as well to get those as well. Thank you again for joining us today, and appreciate your time.